Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Here with a brand new video for you guys. Yes, haven't done anything like this quite yet, but I want to make it a little serious this year, especially since I've been getting into reading, been getting back into reading because I did take a little break. But ever since, I would say September of last year, I have definitely been reading a lot more lately. Really just been getting into buying books, reading books. It's definitely becoming a new hobby for me, which is good because I don't need to be spending a lot of time on my phone anymore, just wasting time of my life while I can be educating myself and broadening my knowledge. So I am bringing you guys my first book recommendation video. I have seen so many of these and I figured I might as well start doing them myself. It's a new year. It's also a new month, but it's a new year. Why not start this off? So I've been piling them up a little bit. I did also start a new book, I'd probably say about a week ago. I haven't been reading it a lot lately because I've been super busy. I'll show you guys that too. I can't really share my thoughts on it just yet because I'm barely 100 pages in. But let me share with you guys the books that I finished first in January. So the first book that I finished in January that actually took me so many months to read is this book called Onward, based on how basically Starbucks started off, all the battles and trials that the company went through, and it just kind of gives it from the old CEO's point of view, which is Howard Schultz. I'm pretty sure that's how you say his last name. This book may not honestly be for everyone. It is for me, but it took me a while to really finish it, and there'd be times where I was getting into it and reading it, but then times where I was falling out of it and then getting back into it, falling out of it, getting back into it. So this book actually I started probably many months ago. I don't even know when I started it, but it took me until January of this year to finally finish. But at least I finally finished. That's an accomplishment of itself. But yeah, so that book mainly is all about corporate office and how to start a business, how to run a business, how to keep a business going. So if you're into more businessy type of books, I would definitely recommend that for you. Otherwise, probably not. It's definitely different from what I'm used to reading. But I did indeed like this book, especially since I go to Starbucks quite often. I wouldn't say every day, and it just gave me a nice business aspect, especially since I want to possibly be a business owner myself one day, so kind of need to know that background knowledge about things. My rating for this book, I'd probably give a 3.5. I liked the book, don't get me wrong. It was really nice to see how Starbucks started, but a lot of the times it was just easy to fall out of the book, lose interest, especially if you get lost in all those big businessy words like I do. Overall though, I would still say it's a really good book. Now, the second book that I finished in January, I unfortunately don't have with me here today because one of my best friends, Miss Zaylee, was supposed to read it, and I think she still hasn't got the time to start it yet. But that book is November 9th by Colleen Hoover, and it is a romance just like many others of Colleen Hoover's books. She mainly only writes romances. She has one book called Verity that's a psychological thriller mystery twist. Well, I would just say it's more psychological, but she doesn't really have any other books in that. She really sticks in the romance category, and she's really good at it. That is my third book from her that I've read. I did like it. However, Ugly Love and It Ends With Us I liked more than November 9th. Ugly Love I liked the most. Ugly Love was the first one I ever read by her, and it was a little spicy, but I really liked it. It was really good. And then I would say It Ends With Us and then November 9th. I like November 9th, but it was more on the, it had drama, but it wasn't as intense in my opinion. I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5, but the two main characters are Ben and Fallon. They essentially meet one day in LA on November 9th, which is actually a very special date, hence the title of the book, November 9th, and they meet before Fallon actually decides to move to New York and just kind of like work on her career. And then after that, they just kind of meet for the next 5 November 9ths after that, or do they? That's the real question. Do they really hold their pact that they made? It is really interesting to see how much the characters grow together even, but I will say it wasn't one of my favorites from Colleen Hoover so far. But I did like it. And then for the 2 books that I finished in February, my oh my, let me tell you, they are very different. They are very different from each other, but let me start with the one that I finished first, and that is The Silent Patient. This book, oh my lord, it is definitely something. It is definitely a plot twist, thriller, psychological, very intense book. Like, oh my gosh. This is actually Eden's book, and we kind of did a book swap a while back. I finished the book she gave me. I just haven't given it back to her yet, but this is so good. The ending kind of caught me off guard. It really caught me off guard. I was not really prepared. Well, not even not prepared. It's just like I didn't like the ending. Like, the ending was so bleh. There had to have been more to the ending, but the plot twist to the book, never saw it coming. I never saw the plot twist to this book coming. It is definitely good, but essentially it is about, I would say, 2 main characters, Alicia and Theo. Alicia one night killed her husband after he returned home late from work, and she just kills him. We don't know why. We don't know if someone possibly led her to doing it. We don't know why. We don't know the backstory as to why. And ever since that day, ever since she killed her husband, she had became silent. Many psychotherapists had tried to reach out to her, tried to see if she would talk, try to get her to talk, but she never would. But then one psychotherapist comes to the, I guess, psychiatric unit that she was staying at, and he tries to get her to talk and tries to really figure out her backstory on why she possibly did this, because he thinks that people don't just do something like that out of nowhere. Something from their childhood or their past had to have driven that type of behavior that extensive. It's quite interesting. It's a little on the darker side. Well, it's a lot on the darker side. And you also get to see kind of like Theo's story, how his life is, how he even used to go to therapy himself. But the ending, I'm sorry, it was still very unsettling and I did not like it. But I would say I would give that book like a 3.5, mainly just because of the ending, to be quite honest. So I'll probably give it a 4, because it was a really good book. It's just the ending, not here. The last book that I read most recently and that I finished is actually quite opposite from that book. And that is Feeding the Soul from Tabitha Brown. I really liked this book. It was actually so positive, and it almost kind of felt like you were like reading a podcast, if that made sense, or just like reading an inspirational video. Like, I really liked it. It is not a super long book, but I feel like it's perfect in length. This is actually also the first book I have ever highlighted. And what I also liked is like each new chapter always, let me find one. Each new chapter always started off with a quote. So like the one on this chapter, which is chapter 14, is "Challenges make you discover things about yourself that you never really knew" by Cicely Tyson. But I really like this book. It was very uplifting, very positive. Definitely something if you need like a boost of inspiration in your life, and also just how she shares her story on here. And I honestly didn't know a whole lot about her before I started reading this book, but I started following her on Instagram because of this book. I actually got it from my dad and my stepmom as a Christmas gift, and I really like it. Like, I really like this book. It really makes you think more about life and never forget to look at the little things and stay positive, even if your life may not be where you want it to be, because one day it will be where you want it to be, you know? I would definitely give that book a 5 out of 5, and you can just literally hear her talking to you when you're reading the book based on how she wrote everything. So I definitely like that book. I definitely think everyone and anyone should and could read it. Okay, decided to switch up the angle just a little bit because literally have been talking your guys' ear off, and I don't want you guys to get bored of me. But if you guys enjoyed this and really want to see more, because I'm really thinking about doing more of these, especially this new year, definitely give this video a like. Also subscribe down below. Hit that bell notification as well so you are notified every time I post a new video. And I will see you guys in my next one, which will be very soon, I promise. And stay tuned for that life update. Bye guys.